Hi, my name is Mandeep Gill, and I'm going to be discussing the decline of the Pacific Northwest salmon. There has been a drastic decline over the years of the population of salmon, specifically in the Pacific Northwest, due to a lot of external factors. Some of these factors are uh, this habitats being blocked by human infrastructure, some as dams, hydropower, overfishing. Commercial overfishing has been a big issue that's been raised over in the ethics of fishing and sustainability. Impact of hatchery fish on wildlife fish. There's since we are been looking for various options over the years on how we can tackle this the population of fish declining. This also has a big, along with climate change and ocean conditions and marine mammal interactions. This can be anything from ocean acidification to rapid temperature change in the oceans that are interfering with these marine interactions. Let's start by why should we care? Salmon are not just a population that, you know, are just declining on themselves. They have a big role in their ecosystem. 135 other animals benefit from the presence of salmon. Some of the examples are orca whales, which are set at 30-year population low, to eagles, wolves, bear, otter, coyote, seals, and sea lions. Adult salmon that return to the Columbia Basin were at least 10 to 16 million fish annually. Today, across the Northwest, less than 5% of historic populations of wild salmon and steelhead return to the rivers and streams. That is a drastic decline from where we used to seeing. 15 different salmon and steelhead stocks in Washington state are listed under the Federal Endangered Species Act today. Chinook are the largest salmonoid. They contribute the largest amount of biomass per fish for the ecosystem. So seeing a drastic decline in them is going to have a long-term wavering effects on other animals or marine life and just ocean life in general. Local problem. This is a local problem along with a global problem. Even though it passes through Washington streams, this has impacts nationwide and globally. Here we see two charts. One chart is the number of Chinook caught, and then on the bottom, on the x-axis, you can see the years. It's very clear that over the years from 1984 to 2010, we've seen a drastic decline from populations reaching from 950,000 to low as less than 200,000. On this side, we see the total abundance of Chinook since 1984. Uh, Please note that abundance equals number of Chinook salmon caught plus number of Chinook returning to the Salish Sea rivers. And in this chart as well, we also see a drastic decline from almost 1.2 million to less than 500,000, 600,000. Another decline that we're seeing, and these are trends that we can, I could pull up trends for orcas, all the other animals that rely on salmon. This decline, its correlation is bigger than just Chinook salmon and salmon population in general. Kind of personally, why I care. Culture plays a big factor. Big factor. I grew up believing in a household that respected the earth, that provides for us and all living things, and that we are part of the natural world. That humans, even though we live in our bubbles and we use our intellect to create houses and our own ecosystems and our own niches, we are still part of the bigger picture. Um, this is definitely a metaphysical and intrinsic value for me, as I am a religious person. In my religious beliefs, I do believe in respect for the environment and all living things. Um, this research stemmed from my environmental science classes back at UW Tacoma. A lot of classes I took by marine biology, sea life, environmental science. They all kind of had a general trend of how we should care for the environment and living things, and going over such topics as how climate change and human infrastructure interference has impacted these native populations to the point where if we don't act or we don't take measures to tackle these issues, that we could see a population or decline that we will not be able to repair. Again, this is an ecocentric consensualism where we give value to everything that plays a role, not only living things. Kind of a personal belief, along with kind of a religious belief and a cultural belief. One thing that we could do as average consumers is only buy sustainably sourced local salmon. You can probably find that at your local fish markets, and you can always ask if it's sustainably sourced. And you could record in a document the amount of salmon you bought and the price of it, even though there's no direct measurement of, if you buy sustainably sourced salmon, how can I directly correlate that to the population? It's just one step that we could take. Another step that I also have been involved in is helping clean up streams that make it difficult for salmon to mate and bury eggs. Um, what I've been doing for the past years, or whenever available, I go to streams twice a month. They clean up garbage near streams. I document the cleaning process, what I picked up, the amount I picked up. Some of the streams and local waterways that I go to are Cedar River in Renton and Maple Valley, North Creek in Balta, Washington, Sammamish River in Redmond, Washington. Again, there's no way to measure instantaneous direct impact, but it is definitely aiding in one way or another. So kind of with these problems that we see, we always discuss the problem, the issues, and alternative options that we can change in our daily lives. But what what can we do learn from science and technology to kind of tackle these problems, and how can we use science and technology to create new options and alternative methods? One option or alternative method provided by science and technology is genetically engineered salmon. Genetically engineering anything is the process of altering genes. We've been doing it for thousands of years in plants and animals, selective breeding, crossbreeding for preferred traits. Kind of you can see in this example of the horse, donkey, and mule, and how they're how we can alter their genes to create a different animal and get certain characteristics that we prefer. Kind of quote unquote playing God in a way. One company that I looked into that makes genetically engineered salmon is the Aqua Advantage salmon. They're made by Aqua Bounty Technologies. They take a growth hormone from Chinook salmon with promoter genes from the ocean trout, and they act as a switch that keep it growing. So what they do is they alter genes, helping these Chinook salmons grow to a bigger population and even going entirely in a lab if they wanted to. There's 99% triploids, sterile females. So if there's any repercussions of these fish escaping into the wildlife, just to hold some type of time a parameter as a limit. The frankenfish, how they compare. We have a picture of the genetically modified salmon and the farm salmon, and you could see how different it is. The length of the genetically modified salmon is bigger, it weighs more, and it just looks way more bigger than the farm salmon. I know when we think of genetically modified, we sometimes think of things that aren't the most safest for us, but this could be a good alternative method that is also sustainable. Some advantages, solutions. There's a new source for food from a lab. It puts no stress on wild fish or fish populations. Controlled fertility and production. Land-based tank cultivation with no ocean involvement at all. So it's a completely independent operation, and the growth is 11 times faster. With all of these pros that we see, is this the future of food? Is this the future of sustainability? It's always a question that has to be asked. Some regulation regarding the genetically engineered salmon is it started discussion in 1993, so this technology has been around for a while. There was initially no pathway set for genetically engineered animals, which led to aggressive petitioning. In 1986, policy called for the FDA, EPA, USDA to use existing laws to regulate any genetically engineered product. Um, Followed by the assessment of the NADA new animal drug application. And on September 19, 2010, a meeting regarding the safety and effectiveness of new animal drug application was held. And on December 26, 2012, the FDA released a draft environmental assessment preliminary finding of no significant impact. And it was on November 19, 2015 that the FDA issued a final environmental assessment and one final FONSI and approved the original animal drug application under Section 512C1 of the Federal Drug and Cosmetic Act. April 26, 2018, the Aquabanis technology had received approval to raise Aqua Advantage salmon on land in Albany, Indiana. FDA has determined that Aqua Advantage salmon meets the statutory requirements for safety and effectiveness under the FD&C Act. The salmon are safe to eat. It introduces DNA safe for fish itself, and the salmon meet the sponsor's claim about faster growth Because a sponsor has met these requirements, the FDA must approve their application. This leaves the question up to us. Are we going to accept it? And is this the future? Should we turn to these alternative food options to become more sustainable? And is biotechnology the future of food? Thank you.